Welcome back to The Explainer. So today, we're attempting this absolutely fascinating piece of digital archaeology. We are going to reconstruct a vivid, breathing snapshot of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Specifically, we're zeroing in on the action from June 14th, 2026. But, and here's the catch, we aren't going to do this by looking at official FIFA reports or reading traditional sports journalism. No way. Instead, we're reconstructing this massive global phenomenon purely through the metadata, the sidebar recommendations, and the digital footprint of a single YouTube highlights page. By looking at what the platform actually serves us, we can map out not just who's winning on the pitch, but who's winning the absolute fierce battle for global attention. Okay, let's dive into this, because this number right here, this is our starting point, 942,494. Now, this isn't some global tournament total. This is the staggering number of views that a single group stage match highlight reel racked up in just one day. I mean, think about that for a second. Nearly 1 million people from all corners of the globe logging on within a tight 24-hour window. And they aren't there to watch a full 90-minute live broadcast, right? They want to consume a highly condensed 2-minute and 11-second digital package of the game. It's this perfect snapshot of how the modern sports fan consumes the world's biggest tournament. They're prioritizing velocity and instant gratification over the slow burn of a live broadcast. Part 1. The micro, the main event. So to really understand this digital ecosystem, we need a baseline, an anchor. And for us, that anchor is Australia's 2-0 victory over Turkey. Looking at the data from its upload on June 14th, 2026, we see exactly how the engagement stacks up. We've got those 942,000 plus views, supported by 12,000 likes and exactly 883 comments. What's incredible about this data is that it paints a picture of this massive, instant global town square. Those 883 comments, that's fans from Sydney to Istanbul and everywhere in between, debating tactics, celebrating goals, or sharing the heartbreak of a loss. And it's all captured permanently in the digital ledger just hours after the final whistle blew. It really establishes a powerful baseline for the sheer velocity of digital sports consumption. Part 2. The macros, a snapshot of the tournament. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the digital platform acts as a real-time monitor of global attention during this unprecedented expanded 48-team format. The whole We Are 26 ethos was all about bringing the world together on a massive scale, and the algorithm reflects that perfectly. Just look at the USA versus Paraguay match. 4-1, pulling in a massive 1.8 million views in just 2 days. Right beneath it, you've got a tense 1-1 draw between heavyweights Brazil and Morocco, capturing 1.7 million views in a single day. Then we have Canada battling Bosnia and Herzegovina, and a thrilling 2-2 draw between the Netherlands and Japan uploaded barely 9 hours ago and already crossing 500,000 views. The algorithm literally doesn't care about geography, it only cares about momentum, feeding viewers this constant multi-million view buffet of concurrent global drama that this supersized tournament delivers. Through these digital recommendations, we also capture the wild extremes of the group stage, which is a direct result of widening the field to 48 nations and mixing all these diverse footballing cultures. On one hand, you have a total blowout, Germany dismantling Curacao 7-1. It's this ruthless echo of their famous 2014 match, and it pulled in 631,000 views in just 12 hours. Then contrast that immediately with a gritty, incredibly tight 1-0 battle where Scotland edges past Haiti, pulling in 372,000 views over a full day. This brilliant contrast really shows how the platform serves both the dominant spectacles and the nail-biting under-the-radar clashes right next to each other, fully embracing the massive scope of the 2026 format. Continuing to map the field, the sheer diversity of the group stages becomes completely undeniable. We have a tightly contested 1-1 draw between Qatar and Switzerland, sitting at over 500,000 views. And then, fresh off the digital presses just 3 hours ago, Sweden crushing Tunisia 5-1. It's only at 89,000 views so far, but you can see the algorithm instantly catching it and firing it out to hungry viewers. It's a chaotic, beautiful spread of matches that shows just how relentless the pace of a modern 48-team World Cup really is, constantly keeping fans globally engaged around the clock. So the absolutely crucial point here is that this isn't just about who scored. It's about the attention economics of sports. If we plot these views on a chart, the hype becomes visually undeniable. The USA's high-scoring victory and Brazil's tense draw are absolute titans of engagement, towering at 1.8 and 1.7 million views respectively. Our focus match, Australia versus Turkey, sits at a highly respectable 942,000, but visualizing it like this really shows us the hierarchy of global interest. Teams with massive digital demographics or those involved in high-scoring thrillers are instantly rewarded by the algorithm with hypervisibility. The algorithm isn't just a neutral mirror, right? It's an amplifier. It takes the momentum of a massive fan base or the shock value of a blowout and pushes those videos to the absolute top of the digital food chain. Part 3. The meta, the algorithm's memory. Now we need to look at how fans actually experience the World Cup today through the lens of digitally curated algorithms. Because the platform isn't just showing us what's happening right now, it's actively curating our memory of the tournament's history. Just take a look at this. Right next to the live 2026 highlights we've been discussing, the platform decides to surface a video titled 15-minute match, France versus Senegal, 2002 shock. So why is a match from nearly a quarter of a century ago sitting next to Australia versus Turkey today? Well, because the algorithm intertwines historical shocks to keep fans hooked on a broader, emotionally resonant narrative. By surfacing one of the greatest upsets in World Cup history, it primes the viewer. It essentially whispers, hey, remember when the impossible happened? Keep watching the 2026 matches because it could happen again today. And this brilliantly illustrates how the platform feeds viewers massive, memorable moments from recent history to capitalize on the current tournament's momentum. Look at these recommendations. The Morocco versus Spain penalty shootout from 2022 sitting at an unbelievable 8.5 million views. A top 10 goals compilation from 2010 with 4.6 million views. The crazy ending of Wales versus Iran and that completely chaotic 3-3 draw between Cameroon and Serbia. The platform is basically using the hype of the 2026 tournament as an engine to drive engagement to its vast archive. It effectively collapses time. To the algorithm, there is no past or present. A 2010 goal is engineered to feel just as relevant and accessible to you as a goal scored 3 hours ago in 2026. And if full historical matches aren't really your thing, the channel still maximizes engagement by feeding you highly curated, themed compilations. We see recommendations for the best ever World Cup goals, the greatest ever saves, and my personal favorite, 7 minutes of the strangest FIFA World Cup goals ever. The platform categorizes the emotion and spectacle of the sport into these perfectly digestible thematic buckets. It knows that if you just watched a great save in the 2026 Netherlands match, you're totally primed to fall down a rabbit hole of the greatest saves in history. It is an absolute masterclass in digital retention, tapping perfectly into human psychology and our own modern scrolling habits to ensure that once you start watching the World Cup, you simply do not stop. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Looking at this single digital footprint of June 14th, 2026, we really have to ask ourselves, how are digital highlights and algorithmic recommendations changing the way we remember global sporting events? We no longer just remember the matches we watched live on a television set. Our memory of the World Cup is now actively shaped, curated, and served right to us by an algorithm that blends today's triumphs seamlessly with yesterday's shocks. It creates this continuous, endless loop of footballing history. It is an incredible phenomenon to witness, and it completely redefines what it means to be a fan in the digital age. Thanks so much for diving into this with me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.